everybody.
Okay.
Okay, Chair, whenever you're ready.
Okay, mahalo. Aloha mai kako, everyone. So good to see you on this Thanksgiving week. I'd like to just start the meeting today by calling us to order, but also to say thank you for all of your service to this commission and all that you do that's seen and unseen and the sacrifices you make. So big mahalo to everyone this week and every week. Shouldn't always just be this week we think about it, but every time. And cultivating that attitude of gratitude. But I'll stop there. I'll call us to order. And then I want to go through our roll call. So chair is present, I'm alone. Vice Chair Salah.
Present and alone.
Members, so Commissioner Ani Benham.
Present and alone.
Commissioner Bento is excused. Commissioner De Silva.
I'm here and I'm by myself, thank you.
Mahalo. Commissioner Hussey is excused, I believe. Commissioner Keokalole.
Present and by myself.
Commissioner Lum.
Present and by myself.
And Commissioner Onishi.
Present and by myself.
Awesome. Mahalo, everyone. Thank you so much for that. With that, though, I want to go ahead and turn it over to Commissioner Lum to introduce our person who will do our vihana today. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Chair. So you already set the tone, and one of the things I thought of since our meeting is today is that this week is Thanksgiving. And so with that in mind, of course, as you said, you know, we should be thankful to Keakua every day. But especially at this time, we reflect on all of the blessings that he's given us, whether they're obvious blessings or whether they're challenges he places in our lives, where we look for the blessings, right? Scripture says we should be thankful in all circumstances. And so I just thought with that in mind, I asked Kahu Cordell Kekoa to bring us our vehena today. And I've known Kahu for a very long time. We actually have known each other since kindergarten. And I'm sure we each have stories we could share, but we won't. So, but anyway, I turn it over to Kahu. Thank you so much, Kahu. Mahalo for joining us today.
Absolutely, Jamie. Thank you. Mahalo. And mahalo for allowing me to bring the vehena for today's halavai. And I love what both of you have already shared, Chair and Jamie. Given the events of this week, may I begin today with the idea and the spirit of mahalo. So mahalo for the people that have given us our culture and have taught us to be proud of who we are, but have lived it more than talked about it. And I was thinking about my parents. My dad is pure Hawaiian and my mom is pure Caucasian. And the connection to aloha. And when we were my sister was 1 year ahead of me at Kamehameha. And so my mom made sure we got into Kamehameha at an early age. She wanted us to learn to be proud that we're Hawaiian. And so about 3rd and 4th grade, my sister comes home one day and she says to my mom, "Mom, Dad is Hawaiian, yeah?" And my mom goes, "Yes, he is." "And Mom, you haole, yeah?" And my mom goes, "Yes, I am." And so my sister goes, "Oh, you really screwed us up, yeah, Ma?" And my mom was so hurt. But later on, she would say to us that she was so proud that Kamehameha was teaching us what it meant to be Hawaiian. And that's really why she wanted us to attend Kamehameha schools. And much later, when my mom was she was going in and out of consciousness, and we were told, you better fly to Kauai and give your alohas to your mom. So each one of us had a chance to go into my mom's room. And so when it was my turn, I went in there and my mom kind of came too. And the last words that my mom said to me was, "Son, aloha." And then she kind of went back into her coma. So when I think about the word aloha and when I think about Hawaii, to me, my mom was just as much Hawaiian as my dad because she lived the values that we talk about. She worked hard to be proud with her children. And so my ohana, I can see us as Hawaii working with all Oceania, strengthening the resilience of our people and cultivating connections. sharing, learning, growing, adapting in order to elevate our people's culture and faith together. So I just, in this 1 minute, I ask you to think about who has lived being Hawaiian more than talking about being Hawaiian? Who has exemplified that Hawaiian spirit of living for you as a commissioner? And once I like to think about that, then I think about how do we as the 13th Festival of Pacific Arts and Culture, how do we bring about a growing and regenerating Lahui? I believe it's through the spirit of these 4 factors: mahalo, which is what I'm highlighting today in our vehena, aloha, ohana, and kiakua. So let's begin our halavai with a very simple pule, e pule kako. Mahalo kiakua for your aloha to our ohana and our lahui. Lele kapule. Amen. Well, my family, have a wonderful Thanksgiving, hau'olila pu'oko'a, and have a prosperous halavai. God bless you. Mahalo and aloha.
Mahalo, Cordell.
Hello.
Mahalo.
Wow.
Okay. Members, I would like to move us on to agenda item number 2, which is public testimony on today's agenda items. If you're a member of the public and would like to testify, please go ahead and unmute and turn on your camera. Going once, twice, 3 times. Mahalo. Gonna go ahead and move on to agenda item number 3, which is approval of our minutes from November 8th, 2021. I do want to note that there was a corrected version that Malia circulated that missed some spelling errors that we all missed the first round. And so Malia corrected those non-substantive changes in that recirculated version. And that's the version I'm referring to. And I'd accept the motion to adopt them.
Move to adopt the minutes, the corrected minutes.
Do I have a second? It's been moved and seconded by Commissioner De Silva. Any discussion, members? Okay, hearing no discussion, I'll go ahead and take a roll call vote. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair Salah.
Aye.
Commissioner Onishi.
Aye.
Commissioner Lum.
Aye.
Commissioner Ani Benham.
Aye.
Commissioner Keokalole.
Aye.
Commissioner De Silva.
Aye.
Mahalo, it's unanimous. We've adopted our minutes of the November 8th, 2021 meeting. I want to move on to agenda item number 4, which is a report on permitted interactions pursuant to Act 103, Session Laws 2021. There was no venues committee meeting and therefore nothing to report in that regard. We did schedule an administrative committee meeting, but several members weren't able to join in. So it was just Commissioner Adi Benham, myself, and Festival Director Salah. And so we just kind of caught up. There was no substantive discussion that we undertook as a committee or anything that was relevant. It was more of just a catch-up meeting for us. And so the other thing that we'll report out in our conversation and catch-up is actually going to be reported in agenda item number 5 as well, which is a festival report, an update from Festival Director Salah. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to agenda item number 5 and go ahead and call on Festival Director Salah to go ahead and give his report. And welcome in your first meeting as Festival Director. Yay.
Mahalo nui. Thank you all very much. I'm hoping that, thank you, Chair. I'm hoping that as we start to move forward and the Festival Directors reports are more detailed, that I will submit in writing according to the timeline so that you folks have Festival Directors report in front of you as we talk through this. So I have just a few points to make since I started on the job. Regarding venues, I touched base with UH Manoa regarding the Festival Village. The process is moving forward and will be brought to the Manoa executives in their executive meeting next Monday. I will not be in attendance at that meeting, but will be on hold for any subsequent and ensuing discussion. Simultaneously, though, I want to put to the commissioners, while we are discussing the main festival village, is there a sentiment regarding satellite venues for pieces of the festival that can be, forgive me, but sort of spread out to other venues? I don't want to put the cart before the horse in this sense, but I do want to get a sense of where the commission is thinking in terms of satellite venues so that we can start to plan that in the fundraising pieces of this. So with regard to fundraising now, I'm working on pulling together the,
Aaron,
I'm sorry.
Aaron, so sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I just want to go back a step. So
Yeah.
what I would recommend is if we can have the venues committee take up and start a discussion about potential satellite venues and what their recommendations would be, and then bring that back to this full body.
Good. Okay. I will follow up with the venues committee. With regard to fundraising, I am working on pulling together extant collateral with regard to what the fundraising tiers had looked like previously, just as a sort of soundboard and a launching point for us to update what those tiers might look like as we move forward. I've been in several conversations with potential and interested funders, philanthropists, and hosts for fundraising activities over the past 2 weeks, such that we can hit the ground running once fundraising, is set. And once we have a full sense of what the Festival of Pacific Arts and Culture 2024 is going to look like and is articulatable on paper and agreed and approved by the commission. And so to that end, over the next month, acknowledging that this is holiday season, I'm going to be reaching out to do our one-on-ones with each of the commissioners so that we can really get a sense of where individual commissioners are looking, what individual commissioners are looking for in terms of the entire festival. And then the goal of these meetings is for us really to bring to light a sense of the entire festival, such that we can, really streamline what fundraising activities look like and will need to be. And so that's where I am now. I'm happy to answer any questions or respond to any thoughts.
Members, any questions for the director? Don't be shy. Aaron, as you move forward, what I'll do is, and I owe you this too, and I was actually going to send this in an email, but I didn't get a chance to yet. I'll send you the prior docs that were prepared so that we have the past versions and can include some consistency. But I'll also send you the report that Commissioner Lum put together for us of actual donations that we received. And so you can at least see who some of the interested parties were. Most of those got returned at the onset of the pandemic. I believe the only donor was Stanford Carr that allowed us to keep the donation altogether. And then what I'll also include just for your direction is an advisory opinion we received regarding commissioners' role in fundraising. And so just so you have the guidelines in that official opinion.
Yeah, appreciate that. That would be very good to know. Thank you.
Of course. And that was from Ethics Commission, just for clarity for the public.
Yeah.
Commissioner De Silva.
Kalani, can you send that that piece from the Ethics Committee to all of us so we know what they said about what we should and shouldn't do?
Sure, we can definitely recirculate that, and it's good. Thank you for that reminder, because we have new members that are on the commission now. That was after that advisory opinion was issued. Commissioner Ani Benham.
So Chair, one of the discussion items for the administration committee was the hiring of describing of a fund developer. And I just wanted the commission to know that that is still on our agenda. And we will probably work on that a little bit later in the month, right, Chair? We just have to get a couple things worked out.
We just didn't have our quorum. So once we get our quorum for our little committee together, then we're good. Any other questions, members? Okay, don't say I didn't say. You get a chance.
Oh.
Commissioner Onishi.
Yeah, that fundraiser position brings up a question I had. How is that going to relate to our festival directors' efforts and the decision-making on who that fundraiser person is, because, you know, I mean, I want to make sure that our festival director, you know, has a say in who that person is, because they're going to be working closely together. So, you know, I guess that administrative committee is just something I want them to take into account and, you know, make sure is addressed through Aaron, and, you know, that he's comfortable moving forward with what that position is going to be doing and how we're going to end up selecting that person. Thank you.
Yeah, mahalo, Commissioner Onishi. At our meeting, well, the planned meeting, and that we will actually pull together in a couple of weeks or so, Festival Director Salah was actually going to be a part of that conversation to help us not only define the position, but also to be an integral part of moving forward on the selection of that position. So mahalo for that. And I think, Aaron, you were looking at sort of framing right now, just thinking that through as you were learning more about the past fund development efforts and whatnot.
Absolutely. And the other thing, Rep. Onishi, is that my job description also includes fundraising. So I want to make sure we hit the ground running. So when I do get support, and I look forward to that we're, you know, we can come out at the gate once a fund developer is on board. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. And just to let everybody know, that shadow you saw walk behind me was my wife leaving. She was in another room and now she left the house. So
Rep. Onishi,
Just-
is she a fund developer?
no, I don't think so. She's a person who spends money.
Onishi, I'll remind you that this is a publicly recorded meeting. And we know, like, you missed too many meetings, so just a reminder. Thanks, members. Okay, anything else, commissioners? If not, thanks, Director Salah, for the update. And again, we look forward to the written reports that'll be more forthcoming when you have more time to hit the ground running. I'm going to go ahead and move on then. Last call. Okay, hearing none. I'm going to actually open the floor to public testimony again to our Festival Director Report agenda item. If you're a member of the public, please go ahead and unmute yourself and turn on your camera and let us know you'd like to testify. Going once, twice.
Hey, Kalani,
we got somebody.
Yaliki,
Aloha.
aloha. Polynesian Cultural Center, aloha to all of the commissioners. Just wanted to mention how much aloha we have for all of you, and just to keep us in mind, if you need any assistance with any of the delegations we represent, I don't think all, but a lot of them. So if you need any help, please let us know. We're happy to jump in. Mahalo.
Hallelujah, Keali'i. And please give my aloha to Alfred. You know, I just saw him at a workforce development conversation we had, so that was good.
Will
To
do.
the rest of the team as well. Okay, any other members of the public wishing to testify? Okay, thanks, members. Okay, any announcements? Okay, no announcements. Our next scheduled meeting date is for December 6th, 2021, 2:30, same time, same place, still virtual. And if there's no objections to that, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, and I'm assuming we're all in favor, and in chorus, we can hit the note. Aye.
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 All right.
Aloha.
Mahalo, everyone. Be safe, be well, enjoy your family, but do it safely, and we'll see you in December.
Mahalo.
Mahalo. Thanks, Chair. Aloha.
Aloha.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.